Hi, this is PTI with Leonidas, AJ, and Lewis. Today we will be talking about the top 5 wide receivers, the best NBA player, and the top 5 quarterbacks. We're going to start off with the top 5 wide receivers. AJ, who do you think are your top 5 wide receivers in the NFL?
My first wide receiver is gonna have to go to Justin Jefferson. He has the speed, he can catch, and he can run his routes. I think he is no doubt the best wide receiver. That's why he won the Offensive Player of the Year. He was doing insane this past season, and I think he will keep playing like this, and he's the number one. My number two, I'm gonna have to go with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, he can catch the ball wherever his quarterback wants him to catch it. He has been so dominant on offense, and I think that he could do the same way as he's doing this past couple of seasons. He has been insane this past couple of seasons. I think he's number two. Number three, I'm gonna have to go with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is one of the most athletic and speedy wide receivers out there. He can catch the ball wherever he wants. He can score his touchdowns, he gets his yards, and he can run his routes. I think he's number three. My number four is gonna have to go to Davante Adams because he's one of the best route runners in the NFL. He can catch the ball also wherever he would like to. He is definitely number four. But my number five is going to go to Amon-Ra St. Brown as honorable mention because he is definitely the most underrated wide receiver in the league. He has the speed and he can catch it with his routes.
My number 5 goes to Jamar Chase. He had one of the best rookie campaigns ever. He basically led the Bengals to a Super Bowl. They didn't win, of course, but he did pretty good. Okay.
My top 5 is a little different. My number 1 is Tyreek Hill. He is the fastest player in the NFL, undoubtedly. He is a great route runner, and he can catch, and he is great at deep balls because he uses his speed to get away from defenders. He can basically do everything. My number 2 is Davante Adams. Davante Adams is a great deep ball threat. He can moss people if he wants to. He's also a really great route runner. My number 3 is Stephon Diggs. He's a great route runner, and he can catch the deep ball. He can really catch the ball anywhere you throw it to. My number 4 is Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's a very good route runner and can catch the deep ball too, but he's undoubtedly one of the best route runners in the NFL, and he's very good. Number 5 for me, this might be a little surprising. I think it goes to DK Metcalf. He's a good route runner, but he's also a great deep ball catcher. He can, just like Davante Adams, can moss somebody whenever he wants to. Is just a great straight up receiver and has been a very good receiver for about the past 5 years. Alright, so our next topic is the best NBA player. AJ, who do you think is the best NBA player currently?
I think it's Nikola Jokic because he is such a threat in the NBA. He can do both offense and defense just in the best in the NBA. He can pass the ball like nobody else can. He is such a threat to the NBA. During the finals against the Heat, he averaged a triple-double all those 4 games, and I think that he is the best NBA player in the league. But also, Joel Embiid was also a very big competition, but I think that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA.
Lewis, what do you think?
I disagree with AJ. I feel like Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the NBA. He is very good at defense. He can dunk. And he can do everything basically except shoot threes. Yeah, he's my best NBA player in the league right now.
Okay. I disagree with both you guys. I think the best NBA player right now is Kevin Durant. He is one of the best scorers to ever play the game. He's a 3-level scorer. He can score from inside, mid-range, and threes. He also makes his teammates better. And with the Suns, I believe they won something like 12-3. They only lost 13-0 in the regular season. In the playoffs, they did lose that series to the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic and Giannis are also very good players. They would both be in my top 3. but I think Kevin Durant is still right now the best basketball player and the best scorer around. Next, we're going to talk about the top 5 QBs in the NFL. AJ, who is your top 5 QBs list?
My number 1 has to go with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is well known for his passing and his making his routes to his wide receivers. He is one of the most known quarterbacks in the league. He is a really big threat in the NFL. He has just won the Super Bowl again against the Eagles, and he can do anything that he can do on his team to carry it. So I think my number 2 is going to have to go with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had his best season this past season. He carried his team to his first Super Bowl since 2018, I think. Last time the Eagles have went to the Super Bowl, and definitely he has been carrying his team with his speed. He can throw the ball, and that's all what they need for their QB. So my number 3 is gonna have to go with Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow, he has been carrying his team for these past 4 seasons. He has been one of the best players in the league. He can throw the ball to anybody he would want, and he can make his routes for his other offensive teammates, and I think he's number 3. So number 4, I think it goes to Josh Allen. Josh Allen has one of the biggest arms in the NFL, and he can throw it wherever he wants, what he would like, and he is really a really big threat in the NFL. That's my number 4. My number 5 is going to have to go to I'm going to have to say Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson can run his routes like a running back. He has one of the biggest speeds in the NFL. I think that he is number 5, and he can also throw it really deep, and he can throw it wherever he wants with his skillful speed and his arm. That's my top 5 list.
Lewis, who do you think is your top 5?
My number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. He can do anything. If his wide receivers run the route badly, he'll throw it and they'll still get it. He can throw into tight pockets like his wide receivers aren't being covered. Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls in a span of 3 years. I think he is my number 1. My number 2 is Joe Burrow. He has carried his team for the past 2 seasons. He had the 3rd most yards in the NFL last season. He and Jamar Chase are one of the best duos in the NFL right now. My number 3 goes to Jalen Hurts. The reason Jalen Hurts isn't my number 2 is because I don't think he has proved himself enough to be top 2. He's only had 1 good season, and we have to see if he will. I feel like by the end of next season he will make it to the top 2. My number 4 is Josh Allen. He has the biggest arm in the league. He has a pretty good receiver core. He averages about 4,300 yards a season or something. But the only thing he has to work on is his interception. If he gets less of those, he'll definitely be top 3. And my number 5 is Lamar Jackson. He has a very good arm. He's basically a running back. He can do everything. Okay,
My lists are a little different than both of you guys. My number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes undoubtedly is the clear number 1 quarterback. He's won the Super Bowl. He's won the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 4 years and made it there 3 out of the last 4 years. And the other year, he lost in the AFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. He's a magician. He can run when he needs to. He puts the ball in the perfect spot almost every single time. Doesn't throw many interceptions. He's definitely number 1. Anybody who doesn't is crazy. My number 2 goes to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback. Is not as great a scrambler as Patrick Mahomes, but can move if he needs to. His receivers, he has a very great receiving core, led by Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and those Tyler Boyd. He has a very good arm. He has an underrated arm in my opinion. And I think he's just a very good quarterback, puts the ball in the right spot almost every single time. My number 3 goes to Josh Allen. Josh Allen, the only issue with me that he's not in my top 2 is because of interceptions. Josh Allen has probably the best arm in the NFL. And when he's on, he's doing great. And he's a very underrated runner. I would say besides Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, he's probably the best, and Jalen Hurts, he's probably the best running quarterback, one of the 4th best running quarterback in the league. And Buffalo uses a lot of stuff for him to run, almost similar to the Eagles do with Jalen Hurts and Ravens with Lamar. But he's a very good quarterback, and if it weren't for interceptions, I think he would be in my top 2, but still I think he's a great quarterback. My number 4 has to go to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a great season last year, carried his team to the Super Bowl, and a great runner, and people underrated his passing skills going into this year, and I think he showed everybody with a good receiver like A.J. Brown they got, and a good tight end in Dallas Goedert, and another good receiver in Devontae Smith, that he's a really good thrower, and that he puts the ball in the right spot a lot, and he can throw the deep ball very, very well, probably one of the best deep ball throwers in the league, has one of the best arms in the league. And his running is undoubtedly one of the best in the league as a running quarterback. My number 5, I disagree with both of you. I think it's Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is very, very good. He's proven that the last couple of years. This year, almost carrying his team to the playoffs. I know they had that big meltdown against Jacksonville in the wild card, but still, he's very good. He puts the ball in the right spot most of the time. He's underrated deep ball thrower. And he had dealt with injuries basically this whole season. And he puts the ball in the right spot almost every time, too. So that's my top 5 quarterbacks. And that's it for PTI today with Leonidas, AJ, and Lewis. Goodbye, everybody.